In 2012, it was Anna Kendrick and Rebel Wilson dominating the screens with pitch perfect, their dulcet tones booming through theatres around the world. And in round 3 of the 2025 season, it was Peps perfect, as I selected 8 winners, the perfect selection for a massive round of AFL football. And that's why you got to follow Peps Tipped Out every single week, because we're heading into round 4 and have I got some juicy selections for you. And it's all kicking off tonight. Carlton versus Collingwood, traditional rivals. We love it when these two teams come together, and it's going to be on a Thursday night, 7:40 at the MCG, the traditional home of football. And let's be honest, we can't go past Collingwood in this one. Carlton have been very, very good over the last number of weeks, up until around about 3/4 time. And then the wheels of the boss, or the wheels of the Voss, keep falling off. And with Collingwood's strong start to 2025, they had the bye last week. I'm really confident that they're going to take out this win against the Blues by around about 4 goals. And that means that the pressure on Michael Voss will continue to skyrocket. But it's not just going to stop there, because on Friday night, April 5th, we are talking. But on Friday night, April 4th, at GMHBA Stadium, 7:40 p.m, we are talking about Geelong taking on the Melbourne Football Club. My boys, who have been nothing short of woeful so far this season. GMHBA Stadium, Cardinia Park, whatever you like to call it, has been an absolute monstrosity for the Demons over the years. How could you forget the 186 debacle? But it's also been games where Melbourne have risen through triumph. Who can forget Corey Enright's 300th, where Max Gawn outshone and flourished in front of our eyes to get a surprise win. And I reckon that is what's not going to happen this weekend. With all the talk, with all the bravado, with all the inner talkings, reviews, etc. I know Melbourne are going to be getting Pickett. They're going to be getting Windsor back into the team. But I just can't see Geelong losing to Melbourne, who's really down on confidence this week at GMHBA Stadium. They will be... They'll be looking forward to a big one, Geelong. I think that they could win this one by about 6 or 7 goals. But don't be surprised, and I'm saying this with a lot of trepidation in my heart, don't be surprised if this turns into something a lot bigger. The D's have lost their last 2 games by over 50 points. I can't remember the last time that we lost 3 in a row by that margin. And potentially it is going to happen tomorrow night. Rightio, let's head into Saturday, April 5th. And I reckon this could be the game of the round. We're talking about the Gold Coast Suns. We are talking about the Adelaide Crows. 1:20 p.m. all the way up there at People First Stadium. This one is really just going to come down to where's the game being played. Now, because this one is being done on the Gold Coast, I'm going with Gold Coast because we know what they're like up there. They love the contest up there. They dominate virtually every team up there on the coast. Yes, they've had a couple of away wins so far, but let's be honest, it was against West Coast and it was against Melbourne. Adelaide, I love everything that they've been doing this year. They have been, I wouldn't say a surprise packet, but they're a team so far that have come out of the friend zone and really putting their foot down on people's throats in that top 8. I know they've got an extraordinary forward line, but I just think with what I saw last week with Rowell, Anderson, Miller, and Witts in the middle, I just think that the overall class and the unique conditions that you have up there in the Gold Coast is what's going to get this one across the line. But I'm tipping this one by no more than 2 goals. And to continue, I wouldn't even say a resurgence because they actually haven't surged in the first place, but the rise of the Golden Sun up there on the coast into a final 8 spot. And from an Adelaide perspective, it's not going to be too much. If they do lose this one, so be it. These are the ones that they might lose. Flip it around. If this was being played at the Adelaide Oval, I'd be going with the Crows. Rightio. Next game is Richmond versus Brisbane at the MCG, 4:15 p.m. Brisbane by the length of the Flemington Straight. This is going to be at least a 10-goaler. Brisbane have been a little bit rocky. They've come back off a shortened preseason. When you win the flag, you do start a little bit later than everybody else. So they're still trying to find their feet, but I just think they've got too much class across the board. And I'm really looking forward to maybe Charlie Cameron having a bit of a breakout start to 2025. I reckon I'm putting him down for 5+, because I just really don't know who is going to be able to stop him. It will be interesting to sort of see how the older folk from Richmond working with the younger generation as well too. and what Adam Uze will do to start to maybe contemplate, how will I stop Neil? How am I going to stop McCluggage? How am I going to stop Dunkley? They've just got too many winners across the board. And the back line with Andrews and so forth will be able to stop anything that Richmond provides. So I'm going at least by 10 goals, but it could get very ugly for Richmond. And Charlie Cameron is going to have an absolute blinder. Rightio. The game to finish off the weekend, North Melbourne versus Sydney. This one is going to be at AFL Stadium. Sydney, we just learned that Tom Papley is going to be out for a number of weeks. And ladies and gentlemen, I am calling a upset right here. I think North Melbourne will actually beat Sydney at home. North Melbourne play Marvel very, very well. We've seen that over the last number of years when they have quite close finishes. They've had them against Melbourne. They had it against Sydney. They've also had it against Collingwood last year as well. They love the ground. They love the speed. I saw them firsthand a number of weeks ago and what they did to Melbourne. I know this is a step up in class when it comes to Sydney, but I've just got a lot of faith in what I'm seeing with North and what their midfield and their runners are doing. I don't have that at the moment with Sydney. And with Papley being out, that's another avenue to goal that I don't think that they can replace quite quickly. I think the talls from North will be able to combat what they're going to be delivering from a forward line perspective of Sydney. And that's why I think they're going to win this by 3 goals and put a little bit, not pressure on the new Cox regime, but it just goes to show that North are not the team what they were the last couple of years. And I'm thinking that they're going to take this one out. It's going to be a mini surprise for all. But with Peps perfect, you can tell them that I picked it. Rightio. Heading into the Sunday games, we have got GWS versus West Coast. GWS, can I say 15 goals? Because West Coast are absolutely putrid on the road. GWS will be haunting from their loss against the Hawks last week. They'll want to get back on their home ground. They want to take this one out with Stringer, Hogan, Green in the middle. I just think they're going to be too hard to stop, and I just love everything about the Orange Tsunami right now, and they are going to have an absolute belter of a game. So picking this one by over 10 goals. Heading into Sunday, 3:20 p.m. at the Adelaide Oval, Adelaide versus St Kilda. St Kilda, they are the outsiders on the betting apps. Gamble responsibly, but I think Port Adelaide, even though this is a home game, St Kilda are going to be my risers that I've seen over the first 3 weeks of the season. St Kilda have won 8 out of their last 11 games. And so they are in really good spirits. And they were clicking last week. We saw what Hill did. Sinclair, Wanganeen Malera behind the ball. And I love the way that they're distributing it. And I just think they're going to have too many weapons around the ground for Port Adelaide. And they're going to have a bit of a surprise victory by no more than 3 goals and continue their drive towards the final 8. And also put another nail in the handover from Hinkley to Carr. It needs to happen a little bit earlier. And this one is going to be a loss that is going to start those drums just beating a little bit harder for that changeover. Rightio. And the last game of the weekend, you could almost say outside of the Adelaide Gold Coast game, this is the game of the weekend. Graveyard shift again, 5:10 p.m. our time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. Fremantle versus the Western Bulldogs over there at the Western Australia, Optus Stadium. You can't go past Fremantle. They have to take this one out. If Fremantle are going to be the real deal in 2025, this is the game that they need to win. And it's a great game to go up against the Dogs, who have been nothing short of brilliant, considering the amount of injuries that they've had so far this season. Even bringing in someone like Shai Bolton into the group, Fremantle still haven't found their sea legs at this particular moment in time. But the Doggies are going to really press them hard. They've got a lot of run around the ground. They are fit, and more importantly, they are a dogged team to play. So Fremantle, you're going to have to attack more, stop the defensive work the ball directly through the middle, get it speed on the ball, speed by foot, and you're a massive chance because you've got a forward line that can dominate a slightly weakened Western Bulldogs forward line. But you've also got a back line that contain people like Norton, compete against someone like Darcy as well too. But I think this is going to be close for quite a while, and then Fremantle might pinch this by a couple of points. But this could be another great game to finish the weekend off. You've also got the buys for a couple of teams. Essendon and Hawthorn, they're not going to be playing. And that rounds out Peps Perfect tips for round 4 of the 2024 season. Make sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell. Do me a favour, please do so, because the more people that subscribe, the better guests that we can get on, the more content we can provide for you as well too. And about 83% of people who watched the tips last week are members of the channel. Jamie and I will be back next Monday for the live show. Make sure you tune in because it's Lace Out. It's how you want your football. And I hope your team wins and we pick another 8. Have a great weekend.